time to head back into the kitchen with Chef Becky, this time whipping up a fun recipe you can make at home as we get closer to the summer.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks so much for joining me for another episode of In the Kitchen. Today, I have a really special party appetizer to share with you. It's a caramelized onion bratwurst puff pastry bite with stone ground mustard aioli. So let's go through the ingredients before we get started. Here we have 1 sweet onion that's been caramelized with olive oil. We have 1 package of bratwurst sausages, and for this recipe I like to use the raw type of sausage. We have 1 egg. We'll only use the egg white for this recipe. We have some everything but the bagel seasoning. For dipping, we have stone ground mustard and mayonnaise that we'll stir together for a nice easy dip. So our sheet of puff pastry has been thawing at room temperature for about 15 minutes. We need to cut squares about 5 inches. So for this recipe, we need to remove the casings. For this recipe, we're only going to use the egg white. Now we're just going to beat the egg with a fork. And now we will distribute the caramelized onions. Put it right next to the sausage. So now I'm using a brush. Put a little bit of the egg white along the edge, and that will help seal the sausage roll up. And I do try, my goal is to have the seam at the bottom. So I'm going to tuck it in gently. Roll it just like that. And then put it on a parchment-lined baking sheet. So now that our sausages are all rolled up with the onion and the puff pastry, we'll give it a quick egg wash. So the egg wash will help it brown in the oven and also will help the seasoning stick to it. So now we will just sprinkle it generously with everything but the bagel. One thing I love about this recipe is that you could prepare them up to this point and store it in the freezer for up to a month before your party, and you could just pull it out and bake. So now we have our sausage roll-ups completely assembled and ready to freeze. We're going to freeze them for at least 1 hour, and that will help them keep their shape when we're slicing them. So our sausage roll-ups have been in the freezer for an hour, and now it's time to slice them. So I freeze them just so it's easy to make these cuts and it holds its shape. So these are about 1/3 of an inch thick. So we have our sausage bites ready to go in the oven. I have it preheated to 375 degrees. It's best if you have convection, so it gets nice and puffed and crunchy. So now our puff pastry bites have come out of the oven. All that's left to do is make the dip and put it on a pretty platter. Here I am adding 1/4 cup of mayonnaise to 1/2 cup of stone ground mustard. And there you have it. Our puff pastry bites are ready to serve. Well, thanks so much for joining us for another episode of In the Kitchen. Today we made my caramelized onion bratwurst puff pastry bites with a stone ground mustard aioli, and the website can be found at chefbecky.com.